So hey y'all, I'm back with another video. So tonight's video is yet again another Chioma Chats video on camera edition. Let's go ahead and cue that theme song. Chioma Chats. Chioma Chats. Chioma Chats. Chioma Chats. Chioma Chats. Say Chioma Chats. Chioma Chats. Chioma Chats. Say Chioma Chats. Chioma Chats. Say Chioma Chats. Chioma Chats. Say grab a snack and bring it back. Hey, Chioma Chats. It's Chioma Chats. Hey, get it. Chioma Chats. It's a chat like that, and we chat till we bring it back. Hello, how are y'all doing? I hope you guys are doing good tonight. Right now, it's just a lot going on. It's been a stressful time. I know y'all probably stressed too, so just sending prayers y'all way, okay? Sending prayers y'all way. Now, by the title, we are going to be getting into something that I think is one of the most uncomfortable yet necessary conversations our community needs to have. And that is how a lot of young Black boys are exposed to sexual content and sexual environments long before they're ready, often by the very people who are supposed to protect them. This conversation came to my mind after watching an interview clip that went viral featuring Love and Hip Hop Atlanta stars Mama Dee and her son Lil Scrappy, who is a rapper, or really a reality TV star at this point, but they were on Nick Cannon's podcast, okay? And in that interview, Mama Dee proudly recalled moments from her son's teenage years that left a lot of viewers basically speechless, like, mute, silence. Y'all hear that? She talked about how she once walked in on him during a private sexual moment with a woman or maybe young lady at the time and made a joke about what she saw, and how she also brought dancers, strippers, to his 14th birthday party as if it were some kind of milestone celebration. But what really stood out was Lil Scrappy's reaction to all of this. He said that those experiences were actually uncomfortable for him and that it took therapy as an adult to realize how wrong it was and how much it had affected him. And that moment right there is what made me stop and say, obviously, this is bigger than just one family or one story. This is about how many people in our communities, often without bad intentions, have internalized the idea that early sexual exposure for young boys is something to be proud of. It's seen as making them a man instead of recognizing that it's robbing them of their innocence for real.
But you enjoyed it because you got service for free. For free. That free
the perks of the family business.
For your birthday. And I
tell
the truth.
What's she doing?
I think I was 14 or something like that, and she, so I had a full-blown party, and we in the hood, like,
right. Okay.
Full-blown, everybody came, because they, we popular in the hood, you know what I mean?
And then I had the
So look, she had the whole,
and so
hold on, man.
Okay, go ahead, you tell me.
So
he's saying it's slow. I got my trunk card right here.
So look, shout the car got, I'm talking about, we got girls in there, back, got them up, like,
Now put the girls out.
Man, cuz coming in. Like, hey, all the girls got to go.
Yeah.
All the girls got to go. We like, what? Like, everybody like, nah, what's up? But see, the older dudes up in there, the teenagers, like, I was like, just beginning. I was like,
right.
When all the way, you know what I'm saying, in yet, you know what I'm saying?
They went and got their mamas.
They did like that. They were like, oh, nah, bro, we good, bro. Mom, don't talk about that. Because they sold dope around the hood, so they fuck with my mama, you know what I'm saying? They rock with mama, so they be like, nah, we good, bro. Y'all done told the whole thing. We got the bread and everything. I'm like, what? Man, mama said, hey, come on, let's get it started.
Blew the whistle.
Boom.
Put the girls out. How about they went and got their parents?
Yeah.
Cause we had the little girl.
My mama had.
Now the young teenager.
My mama had strippers in there.
Right.
Yeah.
For my 14th
Got
birthday.
rid of the school girls and brought the real ladies in, the grown women.
The grown women. And everybody came back. Everybody came back to the door. All the mamas came back. Like,
they gonna come get me. I stood my ground 10 toes down.
She was like, this my house though.
This is my house. But going in my house,
If you got a son in here that don't need to be in here, please take him out.
Please call him out. But we need to get up out of here.
Well, yeah, we gonna do.
We doing some things. Cause
and then look, and then when
wrong
she
with
left, all the girls came back, and we continued the party.
Yeah, and that's how we did.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Hey,
for my 14th birthday party.
That's a hell of a party.
I ain't even know that was going.
Party story.
I wasn't even looking. Bro, I wasn't even looking for nothing like that, bro. I was sitting there like the whole time, like. Strippers, I'm like, cause this is like when I look back,
everybody
Chuck E. Cheese. But look though, bro, I look back at it though. That was traumatizing.
Was it?
Traumatizing.
So
therapy.
After therapy. You came out of pussy.
After therapy, man, that was
So you said your last whooping was at 15?
No, it had to be like 14.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? 14.
Couldn't do nothing once he got next to the pool now. They had to free him, honey.
No, but she actually done walked in on me like several times.
I called the girl riding.
One in.
What was your reaction?
Look, one as a teenager, once as a grown man. I'm like,
all I can say, she rode him well. That's all I want to say.
Do you stop when she walk in?
Okay. Okay, so.
Is it like, Mom?
I would tell you get your ass up, but she doing a good job.
Look, one time.
I didn't mean it. You know, it was dark.
I can't say no name. One time it was somebody famous, right?
Oh,
and then the first time when I was in high school, something like that. And so that was like my high school sweetheart or something like that.
Okay.
So it done happened the first time. It was just like, oh. And then it was like, she shut the door.
I just seen the silhouette.
Because she was like,
I didn't see the actual.
She did like this. She was like, oh shit! Like, just shut the door, like. And I was like, this. I was like.
Okay.
All right. You know what I'm saying? And look,
One time for the rodeo.
Look. The second time, look.
I want to be clear that this isn't about demonizing Mama D, even though she does need to be held accountable. This is also about reflecting on the culture that shaped her and countless other parents who think exposure equals protection. Because truthfully, it doesn't, okay? It's something we've all witnessed in our families, our neighborhoods, and our entertainment. And I think it's something that we need to start unpacking what it's actually doing to the emotional health of our men and boys. So I've broken this video down into 4 main talking points. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. So point number 1 is the normalization of early sexual exposure for Black boys. There's this unspoken but deeply ingrained idea in Black culture that boys are supposed to grow up faster than girls, that they need to be tough, that they need to be street smart and sexually aware as early as possible. The whole boys will be boys thing kind of drives me crazy, but literally from the time that they're little, they're exposed to conversations, jokes, and environments that introduce adult concepts way before they can comprehend them. And I think that people think it's funny when a little boy flirts or repeats something that, he heard from grown people that he's heard. Instead of being corrected, he's praised. Adults will literally say things like, again, boys will be boys, or, oh, he's gonna be a ladies' man, or he's gonna be a heartbreaker, or he got it from his daddy, as if that's a compliment. Meanwhile, if a little girl acts curious or wears something that makes her look older, right? She's immediately labeled as fast, or she's punished, or she's shamed. That's the first layer of the double standard. Boys are rewarded for things girls are ridiculed for. And that reward system leads to boys being treated like little adults long before they're ready. I've had so many conversations with men, whether they're people I've dated or just friends or cousins, and almost all of them said that they lost their virginity somewhere between the ages of 10 and 14. Meanwhile, most of the women I know, myself included, didn't become sexually active until much later. Usually in late high school, a lot of girls lose their virginity on prom night or at the beginning of college is what I see a lot. I think that difference is actually cultural. It shows how Black boys are often not protected from early sexual exposure. They're kind of encouraged towards it. What's even sadder to me is that when those situations involve manipulation or coercion from someone older, people still don't call it abuse. They call it experience. They'll laugh and say, oh, he's lucky, or that's how you make a man. But imagine if the roles were reversed. If a young girl was in that situation with, let's say, an older man, there would be outrage, okay? And that tells you everything about how little we value protecting Black boys from exploitation, because these are still boys, kids, children. Early exposure doesn't teach maturity all the time. It kind of teaches confusion, if we're being real. Like, it teaches boys to associate sexual validation with manhood, and that belief follows them into adulthood. Moving on to point number 2, when parents become the source of exposure. And I want to get into the whole Mama D and Lil Scrappy example. So the Mama D and Lil Scrappy story really opened a lot of people's eyes because it showed how easily early exposure can come from inside the house, not just from outside influences.
So I had a full-blown party and we in the hood. Like,
Okay.
Full full blown. Everybody came because they, we popular in the hood. You know what I mean?
And then I had the
So
hoe.
look, she had the hoe.
And so-
hold on. What
Okay,
you
go
said,
ahead, you tell.
Let me tell you. So but she actually done walked in on me like several times.
I called the girl riding.
One in.
What was your reaction?
Look, one as a teenager, once as a grown man. I'm like,
all I can say, she rode him well.
Mama D probably thought she was doing something playful or even cool, but what she was actually doing was essentially normalizing something that could have long-term effects on her son's emotional development, and I believe it did. When she laughed about walking in on him or talked about bringing strippers to his birthday, it wasn't even like about malice per se. I think it was really about misunderstanding what that was actually going to do. Like, she thought she was preparing her son for what the world would throw at him, which I can kind of see what you're trying to say, but this ain't the way to do it. Oh, no, it's not. Preparation without protection is definitely not love. I think it's actually adding a boatload of pressure to these young men who have a lot of other things that they should be worried about. And what stood out to me the most was that Lil Scrappy himself said those things were traumatizing, things that you have to work out in therapy now.
Right. No, but look though, bro. I look back at it though. That was traumatizing. That was traumatizing.
After therapy.
After therapy. After therapy, man, that was traumatizing.
Now wait a minute, you're in therapy.
Yeah.
No.
Think about that. A man who's now in his late 30s, right, or early 40s, around there, saying that something his mom did when he was a teenager still sits with him today. That's how deep this runs. And it's not even just her. We've seen this same mentality from other parents and celebrities too. For example, rappers like Boosie have publicly bragged about arranging adult encounters for their sons as early as 12, 13, 14, saying that it's a rite of passage.
And to get my son no motherfucking shit out here. I'm training them boys right. Ask in there my nephew. Ask in them. Ask my son. Yeah. They were 12, 13. They got it. Yeah. That's how it's supposed to be. Yeah. Hell yeah, I got my son dick up. He's right.
But that's not parenting, that is projecting. That's passing down brokenness and calling it tradition when it's not. The idea that a boy's manhood needs to be proven through sexual experience is one of the most dangerous beliefs that I think a lot of people have normalized, because when you teach a child to equate sex with maturity, you skip the step of teaching them self-control, respect, and also emotional awareness. And that's why so many men grow up disconnected from intimacy. They were conditioned to see it as performance and not connection. What we saw on Nick Cannon's show was very uncomfortable to watch and to hear, but it was also a mirror, if you ask me. Like, it showed us that we have a generational pattern of parents using the world is hard as an excuse for stripping away their children's innocence way too early. Now, moving on to point number 3, gender bias, emotional detachment, and the cultural consequences. Okay, so this is like my main point for real. The gender bias around sexualization has left very deep scars on both sides. Girls are taught that their bodies make them targets and that innocence is their only protection, right? While boys are taught that curiosity is confidence and that sexual validation makes them powerful. So you want to know what happens? You grow up with women who feel ashamed of their own desires and men who think emotional detachment is a strength. So it's set up for dysfunction. I've heard women say over and over again, men need therapy, go to therapy, heal. And that's true, but many of men's issues start in childhood, just like women's, specifically in these moments of early exposure and basically forced maturity. A lot of men were never allowed to just be children. They were exposed to adult behaviors way too soon. They were told to be proud of things that they really didn't even understand and conditioned to see sex as an achievement. And it's not lust that drives that behavior. I think it's programming. Like, some of these little boys really don't understand what it is, but they are programmed to be like, oh, okay, like that's what a boy or a man is supposed to do. And when that goes unhealed, it manifests as a lot of things. One being infidelity, emotional disconnection, and sometimes even predatory behavior, because let's be real, they were never taught about boundaries. You can see the same patterns in hypersexuality across genders. Women who are over-sexualized in the media, men who are praised for their sexual conquest, neither gender benefits. Boys who were never protected become men who can't protect others. And then society points fingers at them without ever examining or thinking how they were socialized to begin with. And I think for a lot of women that are like in the OnlyFans industry, or they do some type of, sex work, a lot of these women are also conditioned from a young age. Oh, be modest, protect yourself. Your sexual curiosity needs to be here. Don't ever explore it. And then when they're not taught about these things, they get to a point where they can go forth and say, hey, this is how I want to lead, because they're programmed to believe be hypersexual, but just don't let it be you. Like, women can be hypersexual and make money. It just can't be you. And then when it ends up being them, they're also shamed for it, even though what's put in front of their face, what do we see in the media? What do we see from some of these rap stars is them being hypersexual. So the truth is, early exposure doesn't make anyone more mature. It really does not. To me, it makes them kind of numb. It teaches them that intimacy equals validation and not vulnerability, and that love is something to perform, not something to understand. And if we're being real, I think that cycle is being reinforced even harder by today's media. Like I said, you cannot ignore the constant hypersexual imagery pushed in music, in the videos, on TikTok, and in rap culture, especially in what is often labeled as urban media. Artists like Sexy Red and Suki Hana have built their entire brands around shock value and sexual freedom. And while adults can view that as performance and we can separate the two, children do not have that filter. So if you're an adult and you're encouraging those things and you're not putting boundaries in front of your children or the children that you're supposed to be around, you're basically fighting fire with fire, because a lot of these kids are seeing this in the urban media and they think it's cool. And then they come home to parents who don't filter it and don't place boundaries. So what ends up happening? They absorb it as the truth. Little girls see that and think that hypersexuality is empowerment, and sexuality can be empowerment. Hypersexuality, no. Okay? Because no. Like, literally because no. And little boys see it and think that objectifying women is normal. So now we have a generation of children learning about sex and relationships and identity, not from their parents all the time, not from healthy examples, but from algorithms and celebrity personas who are performing it for attention, not teaching it for understanding, right? And what's even more harmful is that many of these same boys are not just influenced by what they see, but also what the adults around them allow. Like I said, a lot of little boys are given passes for being disrespectful, for making inappropriate jokes, like that's what she said, that's what he said, or for how they interact with women, especially older women who often become the ones initiating their first experiences. I've heard this so many times, like every single time I've heard like, yeah, I lost my virginity when I was 12. They always say, oh, well, the girl was older than me, or it was an older girl. I'm like, I promise y'all, I have heard this so many times from so many Black men. So when that happens, it's not only exploitation. I think it's kind of confusing to them. It blurs their sense of what is actually right, what's respectful, and what's healthy. And then later in life, those same patterns show up in how they treat women, because that's what they were taught as acceptable, and it's not. And I think at a certain point as an adult, as a man, you have to know right from wrong. But I'm not giving excuses, but I'm saying I think this is where it stems from. Until we hold both culture and community accountable, the media for what it glamorizes and what parents for what they normalize, we're going to continue to see this cycle of distorted masculinity and detached femininity that will never end. Now, moving on to my fourth and final point, that is breaking the cycle and reclaiming innocence. At the end of the day, I know this is stemming from the Mama Dee and Lil Scrappy thing, but this conversation is not just calling out what is wrong. It's just figuring out how to do better for real. I think we have to start redefining what it means to prepare our children for the world. Being a good parent isn't about making your child only street smart by exposing them early. And I get why some parents think that. I was not one of those kids. I was pretty naive for the most part, hence why I made certain mistakes. So I get where parents say, you know what, I'm gonna put my child on game so they can understand, but you have to be able to give them the tools to make those good choices when that time comes. There's no reason a middle schooler should be involved in or around or surrounded by adult situations. There's no reason a parent should bring adult entertainers to a child's party, Mama D. Okay, there's no reason. And there's no reason that a child's exposure to sexual content should ever be treated as a joke, where their mama is laughing and saying, oh, well, she rode him well. Like, huh? Is you cool? Because that's not cool. And again, it's not even about shaming her, but it's about the safety, because there's other kids that are gonna see that, and there's other kids that have that same exact experience. Black boys deserve to have their innocence protected with the same urgency that we try to protect Black girls. And I think that also they deserve to have boundaries too, to be taught about respect and to know that being a man is about discipline and self-awareness and not just your experience. And for the younger viewers watching this, bring y'all tails to the front. Bring y'all tails to the front, okay? My girls that are 16 in high school watching me, my girls that are just in college this year, please hear me when I say this, okay? Please. You are not missing out on anything by waiting, okay? Being sexually active doesn't make you mature, and waiting does not make you a lame. If there's one thing I want you to take away from me, you do not need to be having sex if you are not ready. If your parents didn't talk to you, if a guardian didn't talk to you, if you don't know exactly what's going on, if you have any questions at all, if you're only acting off of emotion, you are not ready. What makes you powerful is knowing your worth, protecting your peace, protecting your body, and not letting curiosity lead you into situations that you're probably gonna regret. Actually, you're definitely gonna regret it. And I'm telling you this from my own experience. And for the parents that are watching, bring y'all tails to the front too. Come on, parents, okay? This means understanding that love sometimes means saying not yet, okay? And I know the average parent isn't doing what Mama D did, okay? So parents, I ain't coming for y'all, but I just know that sometimes all of this means realizing that exposure without giving your child context is not preparing them, okay? It's just confusing them, especially when people say, because I said so. Oh, mom, why can't I do this? Because I said so. Oh, mom, why can't I go to this party? Why can't I hang out with these group of people? Why can't I wear this? And the parents are saying, because I said so. My dad used to tell me because Y has a long tail. That's very Nigerian. Oh, because Y has a long tail. Because Y has a long tail. What does that mean? You cannot confuse your child. You have to give them context so that they can be prepared. For our culture as a whole, it means unlearning that idea that early sexuality equals strength. I'm sorry, no, but not as a child. Okay, not even sometimes as an adult, okay? We have to stop laughing off trauma just because it's wrapped up in pride. Because at the end of the day, once a child's innocence is gone, it doesn't come back. Like literally, once that hymen is broken, I'm gonna just keep it a bean. Once your hymen is broken, it doesn't regrow. That's it. So healing starts when we admit that boys will be boys has never been protection. It's kind of just been permission for them to do things that they're not supposed to do. And the next generation deserves way better than that. So that is it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Please let me know your commentary on my commentary down below. What do you think? What do you know? Let me know. And last but not least, don't forget to follow me on all of my social media networks, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye, y'all.
Yeah, I love to hear my name called. Black beauty cutie coming back just like an 8-ball. Philly plays, then I go to Jersey, I'm the cake boss. Barking with my dogs, running through y'all like I'm Saquon. Oh, you again? OMG, I'm getting pissed off. I've been past you, I lapped you, coming fast just like I saw. Nigerian girl, I'm somewhere hot, might go and get my wrist frost. I hate a hoe who like to tell she staying at the Ritz Carl. 10, yes, I'm a 10. I really am a 10. I'm throwing bows, I'm swinging R's, I hit that Carl 10. Not going 50, 50, 50 cent with many men. I'm throwing shots from the key, they bouncing in the rim. Hey, you taking shots, you sour ass, it's all around the rim. Hey, I make it happen and impossible, now call me Kim. Hey, real life movie, I'm not playing like a sim. Hey, chubby cheeks, I'm golden brown, I'm at your chin, chin. Skirt, skirt, Danica Patrick, green looking sharp just like a cactus. Moving forward, not going backwards. Chamba party, I'll send the address. Plus them, but they dark like they some Ray-Bans. I can write, I can rap, I can sing. What more you gotta say, man? Oops, I made your block look like a wasteland. Heavy shit, the straw that broke the camel's back. They might say I'm a haystack. If you ain't rocking with me, boy, just say that. Brown right on my body, this is real, baby. This is not a face tan. I heard them girlies catching out, that's why I call them bandicoots. I'm a brown skin thing, I'm African, and that's right down to the nappy roots. I foresee hair and foresee big numbers at the polling booth. All white on, I'm standing out, I'm looking like a snaggletooth. Haters talking, it's so easy. I just block them, you. I'm in the gym, squatting heavy, yeah, working on my glutes. 30 minutes, go write a song, then go snap right at in the booth. Add deep clean Chioma on everything, go check my page, and that's the proof. Like what? We ain't rap happen, still coming. Tickets.